Happy Saturday. Thank you so much for coming for the NJIC chit chat today. Can you guys hear me? Please, if you can hear me, kindly leave me a thumbs up. Thumbs up if you can hear me. Hi, everyone. Okay. All right. So we'll get right into this. I'm gonna bring on our for today. Thank you guys. Thank you, famous. Thank you, everybody. I'm gonna bring on our guest, the one and only Tofino Immigration, Mr. Bass. Give it
Hi,
up for
Janet.
Mr. Bass.
Super excited today. Super excited.
Yeah, I know. It's Saturday.
Good.
You know.
It's good to
Good
see
vibes, good vibes. I'm just trying to, stay
you.
happy.
I see you having an Instagram story takeover this weekend.
Yes, it's
That's
been
good.
fun. I almost feel like I don't have anything to show people because there's a lockdown. There's really nothing to do.
Right.
I don't like cooking because I don't people like watching people cook. So I don't know what to do. But
Is it the same page? That's where you got the outfit.
yeah,
Okay.
Sarah Kasim.
Right.
Yes.
That's good. That's good. I think the story.
Yeah, I saw that
really cool.
you were following that. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And so, guys, I present to you Mr. Best Agofure. Did I pronounce your last name well?
You're doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. I don't know if you know how to spell it. I don't know if you know how to
Okay.
spell it. I don't know if you know how to spell it yet, but you're doing pretty good.
Oh wait, did I spell it wrong?
It's okay. It happens often. So.
Oh my
I
god.
have people that can't pronounce it. I have people that can't spell it. So.
Okay, don't worry. I'll correct myself. I'll go look again. I'll learn.
That's fine.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us today.
You're welcome.
So just for people that do not know you, I want you to just briefly introduce yourself.
All right. So let me pronounce it right this time. My name is Best Agofure. Right?
Agofure.
Agofure. Canadian.
Are you sure that's not the funky size version?
Agofure. Agofure. Yeah. I'm sure you can.
Okay.
Figure that. Yeah. I'm a Canadian immigration specialist at Tofino Immigration Consultant. At Tofino Immigration will help make Canada your new home. So that's what I do, and you can check us out and check out our page later too. So we'll be good.
So let me just announce for people that do not know. Best is a regulated Canadian immigration consultant. Is one of the licensed people that you should be reaching out to for your immigration, needs.
Right.
So and for the NGIC family, you get 20% off the initial consultation fees with Tofino Immigration. So if you are sleeping on that, I don't know what you're doing, because this was a signed, sealed, delivered deal. So you guys better get on that. So I just thought to put that out there. So Best, let's get right into this business. I know last month the Canadian Immigration Board, they came up with like new policies, that I think will greatly help temporary residents in Canada. It's amazing. Like, I'm so happy because I know a lot of international students personally that had to renew, just so that they can have like a status here in Canada. They have to keep going back to school and all that. We know how that goes. And I believe this is a very peculiar, very amazing opportunity for temporary residents to really tap into. So that's why you're here today, to explain it to us, because when I went to the website, Canadian immigration website can be so overwhelming, all the information, people, it's easy to mix things up, or not have a clear understanding. So I would like you to just explain the policies, and yes, can you please explain the policies to us?
Yeah, thanks. A couple of weeks ago, the Minister of Immigration, Marco Mendicino, came up with some policies to help temporary residents transition to become permanent residents, right? So there's 6 streams. 3 of those streams are for French speakers. 3 of those streams are for English speakers. So stream number 1, I'm going to focus more on the English speakers one because we speak English here. So
yeah,
but it will be the equivalent for the French, except for little clauses that are there as well. But the first stream is like, we just call it category A. It's Annex A, Stream A, Category A, whatever you want to call it. But category A is for people with work experience in the health occupations, right? Like the health sector. Like, so we're talking about nurses or dentists or massage therapists. So those health occupations, 1 year work experience being 1,560 hours, full-time or part-time. So we got that block. Now for category B, these are for essential workers, not necessarily health related, right?
Okay.
So this would be like for your plumbers, your carpenters, or your
What
chefs,
about
bakers.
that? I had a question. Like, what about like people that work at grocery stores? Do they count
Cashiers,
as
cashiers, for
essential workers?
example, would fall under, they would fall under category B. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah. So the cool thing about this, I call it stream B. The cool thing about stream B, right, is you can add experience from, you can take some experience from the essential occupations, non-health related, and also add it to the health related occupations as well. So you can mix those two together for category B. In category A, clearly says that it's a health related occupation. So of course, it has to be a health related occupation. So that would be the difference between A and B. Both you need 1,560 hours. If you get it full time, wonderful. If you get it part time, wonderful. As long as you have that experience within the past 3 years. So that would be the requirement for, we'll go into more details later, but that would be the general requirement for A and B. And that is a third category for international people who've already graduated. So not necessarily international student, because you must have graduated
exactly.
at that point. So you've done school in a diploma, 2 years, or a degree, or essentially you've done school. Now, do you have to have your degree on the wall? Not necessarily, but as long as you have proof that you've done school, if that is a letter from your school or transcript being printed or whatever it is, as long as you've done school and you are employed, you can apply for this stream. Now, for these 3 streams I just explained, you have to be employed at the time of application.
Oh.
Right.
Okay.
So for the health, let's say the health one, for example, right? Let's say you were working for the past 3 years in one of those sectors, right? Of course, that NOC will be specific because that's a health kind of category. And when you done that, even if you quit that job a year ago and now you're working at any kind of job, as long as you had that experience from before, you still qualify. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and also for B, you can be working any job right now as long as you had that essential component sometime within the past 3 years. Wonderful, you still qualify. In the international students, they have to have graduated and have a job, any job, full-time, part-time, as of the date of the application, then they should be okay. Now, it says be employed at the time of application. It doesn't say you have to be employed all through when this is being processed, because this is COVID times and we don't know if somebody is going to be able to maintain your job for however long this is going to take to process. So technically, you can look for a job, apply, and then quit. I'm not saying quit because that's going to be silly, but technically you can do that because it doesn't say you should be working while
all
this is being processed. So I don't want anybody to get stressed about that. But the requirements about the main requirements, you should be residing in Canada when you apply. Okay. You should be residing in Canada when you get your permanent residency. So there should be no funny trips in between. I don't think, because you should be in Canada when you get a decision, right? So that is what is important, but it doesn't say you should be working all through. It says you should be residing in Canada, but have a job when you apply.
When you apply.
Exactly.
Okay. So when does the application start? Like, I know that is like clearly written, but just in case.
Right. So it's gonna begin next Thursday. That'll be May 6th, I believe. May 6th, that's when it's gonna start. But that's not when I'm gonna start preparing for this, because I have a very good feeling this is gonna be sold out pretty quickly, especially the international student category.
Yeah.
Right. So we already know the IELTS site crashed. We know the self-pip site crashed at some point. That's to tell you the amount of people that were trying to get that exam done. Okay. And of course, with COVID and the limited spots available for exams like this, they can't take as many people as they would on a regular basis, right? So I don't want anybody waiting until May 6th to start preparing. you want to start doing everything you can do before that date. So on that day, if you have all of your documents, you want to start applying right away. Because if this is sold out, then you need to start looking for other options, because 40,000 is not a lot of people for the. I know a lot of people are going to be interested in the international student category. So there's not a lot of spot there. It's 40,000, and it's a one-time deal. It's not going to be getting extended.
Okay. So, well, I said it on my page when I posted about the announcement that people, as at that day, people should have enrolled. If you need IELTS, you should have, bought your forms, start preparing for it, because it's a short, like you said, it's a short-term kind of thing. So it's not going to be like, and there are limited slots. So it will end up being a matter of like first come, first serve. So if your Yorubas will say any yara logungbe, like the person that is fast is the one that, I don't know, I think Ogun is the god of iron. So so you need to be fast. You need to get on the train, because it's a fast one. It's gonna be over before we even know it. And from what I read on the website, once they've reached the maximum capacity, which is I think 90,000 people, that's the end, right?
Yeah, but again, I think Canada is just trying to be really smart in terms of our borders and our security and economic prosperity, right? So this 90,000 people, it's just so Canada can meet its requirements of inviting 400,000 people every year for the next 3 years, right? Instead of bringing people up from abroad right now that we have different variants and COVID is still very much active, it makes more sense to turn temporary residents in Canada into a permanent resident. So that's the strategy that Marco Mendicino, the Minister of Immigration, is trying to use, so he can still reach the target, but also be using people that are already here, that are currently contributing to the economic fabric of our country. So that's why he's trying to do that. But 90,000, it's very easy to reach the 90,000 mark, right? But of course, I have a feeling they might create a new program. But this one is a one-time thing, but it doesn't mean they wouldn't necessarily create something else that kind of, because this is unprecedented. And the CLB, the Canadian language benchmark, which is the language score, because we have the CLB 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 being what most people need for the federal skilled worker program, for example, to start getting to the express entry category. That CLB 4 is pretty low.
It is.
Even if you don't study, you wrote that exam, you will still get at least
that was what I was saying, that if you go into the exam hall, so instead of waiting, doing like any extra preparation for IELTS, if you need it, just go and take it, because they're not even asking for like a higher mark.
Right.
In this time, you should play smart, not
Yeah. So CLB4 for stream A and B, which is the health category, the health worker category, and also the essential worker, non-health related category. That's CLB4, but for the graduate category, which is where the international students fall, that would be CLB5. And I mean, if you're able to study in Canada in English, you already have at least a CLB5. But because those sites are crashing, I'm a little saddened, because I almost feel like the government should have waived the requirement for IELTS, because it's a shame. Because if you studied in Canada and you got a degree in Canada, chances are you already have a good level of English or French to be able to remain in Canada, right? So I don't really see the need to go back and because those websites are not working. But if you look at how much money IELTS or CELP people will be making from this, for 90,000 applicants times whatever amount of money the exam is, that's just in the millions, right? So I'll let you guys do the math, but of course it makes more sense economically to keep these things going. So, but I just think it's unnecessary. But it is. We're not here to argue about what the law is like. We're just here to help.
Exactly. We're here to help with information, so people are clear on what they need. So I have a question about the IELTS. So you're saying now that it is a requirement.
It is. I mean, you can write IELTS or CELP, but the language exam is a requirement. If it is a TEF Canada exam for French, for example, or the TCF, you still have to prove language proficiency for this program. But the requirement is so low that you could wake up from sleep and still ace it.
And do it.
Exactly. So
I just wanted to clarify, because I was speaking with a friend who said, oh, like she could there are things she could do to waive IELTS. So I just wanted to like say that so that people know that okay, there is no other way. You need a language test.
The only I guess sort of wave you can be doing is showing the results of your IELTS online, like printing that from the website or using the electronic version compared to you waiting for the paper to scan it to the PDF, and because that's going to take too long. So there is an exception for that, but you're still going to be writing that exam.
You need to write the exam. Oh,
yeah.
Wow. Guys, you have between now and Thursday or before, just please go by the forms if you need to. So yeah.
Right. Then the other thing that, because we just talked about the English part, I just want to touch on the French part a tiny little bit because I'm passionate about French, and I love
as a French speaker.
I love languages, so I'm just gonna
bonsoir, monsieur.
So I'm just gonna chip in a little bit, right? Now we have 90,000 spots for 20,000 for the health occupations, yeah. And then we got 30,000 for the essential occupations. And then we got 40,000 for the graduates in international students category. So that's 90,000. That's the cap. But for French speakers, there is no cap.
Really?
Okay.
I didn't even know that.
So that 90,000 doesn't apply to the French people. Okay. So the requirements are still the same, but there's no maximum because we do need more French-speaking people in this country. And of course, French is obviously going to help your career. But in this particular case, I've been preaching French. I've been like an evangelist for French for many years now because it's such a winning strategy for immigration purposes, right? And of course, it's going to help your career. But first, it's going to help you settle in Canada permanently. Now, there is no cap for French. So technically, the language requirement, the benchmark, the Canadian language benchmark we've been talking about, the CLB4, right? And the CLB5 for the students, it's still going to be the same requirement for French. So let's assume, Janet, that this program was sold out in the first month, for example, because we really don't know, okay? Let's assume it's sold out in the first month. Now, this is May, and the program is May 6th to November 5th is when the program is going to be running up to. So that's a few months, right? Can you technically learn French? I'm back with my preaching again. Can you learn French for a few months to get up to CLB4, CLB5, which is like an equivalent of a B1 level? Of course you can.
No.
So I don't want people being too stressed, okay? Because yes, it's 90,000 spots. But if you sign up for an Alliance Française or even if you lived in Quebec for a tiny little bit just to get that free government support for the French classes and get yourself up to that level, there is no cap. You can still apply as long as you apply before the November 5th deadline and you are employed. Now, speaking about Quebec, you shouldn't be living in Quebec to be eligible for this program. But, well, you could be living in Quebec, but have the intention to settle somewhere else when you get your status. So, and how do you do that? Of course, you need to have a settlement plan. Bonjour, nous sommes ici. Okay, bon. Okay, so you need to have a settlement plan, right? Even if you are living in Quebec at the time, you just say, hey, officer, I'm actually planning to move into Ottawa. I've been looking for jobs. I've looked for a home. I've looked for schools for the kids. Like, just explain yourself. Or just move to Ottawa the day before. Doesn't matter. But that cap, that 90,000 cap, does not apply to people who speak French. And I personally think you can achieve the level of French, CLB4, which is the bare minimum. Like, you can do that in your sleep if you heard your French teacher teaching French from Nigeria. Like, you can get a CLB4. And then
I almost feel like I should try to do it,
yeah,
just to see if I can get like a CLB4, even though I don't need it.
Well, for the French language, there's technically like 6 categories, right? So there's A1 at the bottom, which is the beginners, like somebody who just says bonjour, right? A1, A2, B1, B2, then C1, C2. C2 being the most advanced anybody would get in that particular language. All we're asking you to do is just get past A2 a little bit, B1 level, which is a little less than intermediate, beginners intermediate level. And you can get that in a few months. if you put in the effort. If your life depended on this, you put in the effort. Okay, so that's just to put that little clarification there, because I know we keep saying it's 90,000 spots, but French, that language is super powerful in this country, and we need more French speakers, because it's just, so I just wanted people to understand that, just in case they need a backup plan, because I don't want anybody being frustrated about that. I hope that helps.
Yeah, I really hope so too. I hope people are taking their French seriously. These are things that I didn't know before I moved here. I would have gone to Unilag. There are lots of tutors there doing French. I would have taken French classes. I did not get a job last month. Like I was the second runner up for the position, and they gave the other candidate who could speak French. So if I could speak French, I probably would have gotten the job, you know? Yeah. So guys, take your French classes seriously. Don't be like me.
Yeah. Another thing I want to touch on is the requirement for all of these categories is that you are employed. So if you're on mat leave, you're not employed. If you're on sick leave, if you're on extended sick leave, you're not employed. Okay? So we need to kind of talk about that a little bit. But it's 1,560 hours that you need for the occupation A, for this category A and category B. 1 year work experience, or 1,560 hours. It could be full-time, it could be part-time. Now, a student who's studying, say, at the University of Toronto, for example, right? And they were a cashier, year 1, year 2, right? Part-time, because you can only work 20 hours a week. And if you've done that for 2 years, that is technically 1 year work experience, which is 1,560 hours. Can they apply? Of course they can, right? Because even though they're a student, they're in the essential worker category, and they meet this requirement because they are authorized to work. Because as a student, you're authorized to work 20 hours a week. So you still meet this category, even if you haven't graduated yet. Because for category A and B, it doesn't say you have to have graduated school. It says you need this experience in this particular category, and you need to have the authorization to have done that job, and you need to be employed. So if a student worked a couple of years at school, part-time, and they got that experience within the past 3 years, they can still apply because they still have status and they're still authorized to work. And as long as they're employed, so right now they just need any employer to write them that letter that they're still working here, and they will still qualify. So that would be the only, so people always ask, oh, do I have to have been done school? For the third category, for the international graduate category, yes, you must have graduated. That's what it clearly says that. But for category A and category B, you have to have had experience in one of the NUC codes that are required there. But it doesn't talk about school. It talks about you being authorized to work. So I hope that clarifies that a little bit.
I didn't even know that. I was so confused on that.
Yeah, for people that, and again, back to the point, I don't want people being stressed. At the time of application, you need to be employed. While the application is being processed, it doesn't really matter. Of course, you need to have status in Canada, being in the visitors. Let's say somebody runs out of your work permit or something. Like you applied while you were authorized, but now you're a visitor or whatever status you have, and we're just waiting at this point to get the actual PR. So processing time, we don't know yet. We're still waiting on the application guide because they're going to bring this out before. Everyone is scrambling, including the government is scrambling. Okay, so the guide is not out yet, but I'm thinking it will be out before the date it goes live. So probably by the 5th, we're expecting the guide to be out by then. But then we'll know more. But should you be sitting down right now, not doing anything and hoping when it opens, then you start filling out your forms? No, because this is going to be sold out pretty quickly, in my opinion.
I will not be surprised if during the first week they tell us that, oh, we've reached the maximum capacity for this. I will not be surprised. Or the first month.
Yeah, but we don't know how COVID is going to evolve. So there might be some new programs that they will have to create to continue this line of thinking, right? because the borders are still not open to everybody yet. So they're still going to keep trying to serve. Everyone is just scrambling, and Canada is going to take care of their own people here first before they start looking abroad, right? That's why the federal skilled worker has probably been on
hold, put on hold right now
for a while, right? Because we're trying to turn people that are temporary resident here into permanent residents. So that's what I have to say about that for now.
Okay. All right. So thank you so much, Bess, for touching on those points. And guys, I hope you are clearer now on all this. And for everyone just joining, Mr. Best is a licensed immigration consultant, and today is just talking to us, or explaining to us about the new policies that Canada has put in place for temporary residents. That's for those who are in Canada right now. So our FSW people, my prayers and thoughts are with you.
Right.
I hope that something comes up very soon. I hope COVID ends and Canada continues the program and you guys get to come to Canada soon. But for now, that's the topic we are touching on, because I got a lot of questions about immigration just in general. But unfortunately, that's not what this life is about. Sorry, guys. Some other time, if Mr. Best is willing, we will have that chat.
Yeah. So, well, one more thing. I mean, we already know how much it's going to cost people. It's $1,050, right?
Oh, I think there's a cost, right, for application. I didn't know. So
did you think they were going to do this for free?
No, when I checked the website, I think I didn't see that. Maybe they hadn't announced.
They uploaded it in a different part of the website, but it's $1,050. And this money has to be paid at the time of application. So you know how with Express Entry, you don't have to pay when you're creating your profile and stuff like that? Mm-hmm. But with this, when you submit it, you need
to make the payment.
Now, some people might qualify for multiple programs. So we need to address that. So for example, let's say a cashier in category B. Also, they were a student while they were working. So they also got the degree, they graduated, and they're still working somewhere. So now they qualify for the category B, essential worker category, and they also qualify for the international graduate category. Can they apply for both streams? You can, but you have to pay $2,100. So does it make sense to do that? I don't think so. But people could technically do that and apply for multiple programs if they qualify for that. So I just wanted to address that.
I think someone asked that question, that can they apply for multiple streams? So yes, they can. It just means that you have to pay twice.
You have to pay. And people have been, I mean, I understand people trying to do that because you're just trying to secure the future, right? But there's times when that is just annoying because it takes that spot originally for some people, because when you hit submit, that's when the counter goes, right? So that counter for 90,000, of course, at the end of the day, we'll find out if this person actually qualifies or not, and then we might readjust the counter. But originally, now some people are not able to actually file, right? And part of the reasons why the IELTS site crashed was because people were booking multiple dates. Okay.
Oh.
And it's just, let's say you book.
That's not necessary. Like you need CLB 4 and 5. That's like the barest minimum. You don't need to book more. Oh,
yeah, but the reason is it's not even for the CLB 4. It's more of like they want a spot so they can apply as soon as possible. So if you found a spot for say June 15th and you found another spot for May 10th, you're obviously going to rebook. And so people are just trying to do this, right? And it's a bit annoying for people that actually need this. So I mean, if you're thinking of double booking, just don't do that. Just allow people
think of other people, that need this. So yeah.
And I'm also telling people do we know the exact forms that the government is going to be asking for? We don't know that yet. Okay, but if you think about it logically, if you're applying under an international graduate stream, obviously we're going to need to see your transcript, right? So you want to start working on that, or you want to start working on a letter from your institution, because I know COVID, people might be busy or the offices might be closed or whatever it is, but you want to get some sort of proof that you've done school, right? Because one thing that could happen with all of this is misrepresentation. Okay, people applying without having the right information or the right documents and end up being rejected later or even banned from applying for something later. So one of the things I want to address is immigration consultants, lawyers can't actually submit your application for you for these 6 streams, okay? We're not allowed to submit it for you. Of course, we can review your work. We can share our screen with you. Like my clients, for example, they're going to be sharing the screens with me, and we're going to be making that application they're going to be hitting that submit button. Even if I'm the one who's going to review all of the documents and stuff like that. But they're going to be the one to log in. The idea is not to share your credential, like your login password and all that, with anybody for this particular stream. Now, I don't necessarily agree with everything the government is saying, okay? Because you should have a right to somebody representing you, okay? That is unconstitutional almost to say you cannot be represented because we have people that are, say, nurses, for example, they're going to be working on that day. How are they going to take off time? Because that thing's going to be sold out pretty quickly. How are they going to take off? So you want somebody to take off time from helping in our hospitals and saving lives to go take off time to submit an application? Like, what do you think this is? So that's a problem. You don't expect a truck driver on the highway to pull over and submit May 6th. Some people might not be computer savvy even, and which leads to more misrepresentation if they make mistakes. So some people are going to get rejected from that 90,000. So we need to get that straight. It's not like everyone that applies is going to get accepted. Some people are just going to get rejected. So it's still important to seek the help, but just know whoever you're working with, you're going to be the one hitting the submit button, and they can share your screen and they can be on the phone with you and try and guide you through it. And but you need to be the one submitting that yourself. That's what we have to work.
That. Please don't go and paste. I don't know, because I know that everywhere now there are scammers and all that. Don't go and somebody should not come and tell you that, oh, we can do it for you, and they will collect your money. And then it turns out that they tell you that, oh, they rejected your application. Why? Because, you know, you did not submit the application yourself. So we want to be very careful with that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Guys, and I see questions like in the comments. I know you guys, you know, have some questions. We are just trying to get the guests to, you know, give us like an explanation, and then we'll take the questions from.
Yeah, so somebody here was asking what forms, please. Sylvia was asking that. Now, we don't know what forms yet because the program guide is not out. Now, the guide will probably be out. It will be out before, of course, we go live May 6th. So anytime from now till May 5th, midnight, we don't know what midnight, if it's going to be, you know, Pacific time zone or the Eastern time. We don't know, but as long as the guide is out before then we should be good. Language requirements, category A, that's the CLB4, category B, CLB4, international graduate category, CLB5. You can pretty much do that in your sleep if you watch 1 or 2 YouTube videos on how to do it, right? So this will lead people.
Said,
go ahead.
Yeah, I was just reading someone's comment about if the video will be available. Yes, because we are trying to help people. Obviously, the video will be available on my page, and you can go back, you know, share with your friends who you think qualify for this, so they have an idea what to do.
So somebody was asking if they needed a postgraduate work permit to be able to apply for this program. So you studied in Canada. The requirement says you should be employed when you make this application. So if you've graduated, how are you working without a permit? What permit are you using to work? So of course you need a postgraduate work permit to work. Now, if you've applied for it, so you're under this sort of maintained status, which was previously called implied status, of course you're still authorized to work, but you need that authorization to be working. Even as a student, you're still authorized to work if you're looking at category A, B. We already discussed this earlier, so you might want to go back and rewatch the video, and I hope that helps you out a little bit.
Yeah. The next question, this person is just making a statement that if they, hopefully, I hope Canada can have a program for like international graduates, you know, graduates something like this, if they could just, do it yearly, it would be really nice.
Yeah.
What are the other questions? Okay, let me pull questions from here.
Okay.
Let's see. So, hello, are the international graduate? Oh, okay, I
Yeah.
think that's the one you just answered. Yes. Then the next one. Can one travel after the application or during the time when the application hasn't been approved?
Well, you can travel, but why would you do that? Right? Because it says at the time of application, you should be residing in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
At the time you're approved, you should be residing in Canada. So let's say you go to Mexico for 2 weeks. I mean, in those 2 weeks, you got invited. What are you going to do? We don't know the processing time. We don't know. Don't let anybody fool you. Don't get faked out and think the program guide is not out yet. We don't know how long it takes to get. If it takes 3 months and you were traveling someplace and you missed this opportunity, and you're temporary resident and you can't even come back to Canada, and the COVID restriction is too
because
serious,
of COVID, they're not even sure.
Yeah, I mean, travel within Canada if you have to travel, but I wouldn't suggest leaving the country at all. But once you've been approved, you're a permanent resident of Canada, you can leave, you can come back, and maybe quarantine in a hotel and pay lots of money. But it's not right now. Right now is not the time to go abroad.
Okay. So next question. For the international graduates, can transcripts be used as proof of graduation? Oh my God. When I'm hungry, I say rubbish. But
yeah. So, of course, not everybody have the degree on the wall, and graduating is it's transcript would work. Maybe a letter from your school might also work. This is COVID, guys, so we don't expect all universities to be functioning 100% right now. And the officers are human beings; they understand this, right? You just can't say I've graduated. That's not going to do it. Like, get something from your institution. If it's a letter, if it's a confirmation, whatever you got, then you can use that. Now, there's a question here, Janet, and it's person say, I just joined. Please, what's the born? Can't even spell properly. But anyway, what's the bone of contention? I guess that's what's the topic. What I don't like is speaking unnecessary grammar. I have a live after this on IELTS. There's a reason lots of people don't pass IELTS. I'm going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that on the next live. We should have probably in an hour or so. But please, guys, keep the English just straight to the point. Not everybody understands what you just wrote. Okay.
Okay. I think Aqua is saying that school always sends like a letter of completion to your address after. So
yeah. So as long as you have some sort of proof that you have completed your program and you are working. You can be working just for 24 hours. It doesn't really matter. As long as you're working, you don't school, you qualify under that 40,000 spots. If you speak French, you can just laugh all the way to the bank. It doesn't matter. Because come November 5th, if before then you have your TEF Canada exam or your TCF Canada exam, then you can just still apply as long as you have a job.
Okay. I think that kind of answers most of the questions that we have for today.
Okay.
Guys, thank you for joining. If you have any questions, how many minutes more?
Yeah, if you have questions, you can put them in the chat box below. But I would just like to reiterate. Yeah, I would like to reiterate that the 90,000 spots available does not apply to French speakers. And I think from May to November is enough time. If this program gets sold out pretty quickly, it's enough time to learn some French. So sign up for Alliance Française, sign up for French, for whatever French program you can. Get some friends that will speak French to you every day. On my page, I have different podcasts that you can actually listen to, different French resources that you can work with to help. You can learn French for free, technically, with lots of websites these days. Because we live in this age where technology, you can really get everything you want online. So, you know, if it gets sold out pretty quickly, your backup plan is to just learn French, because it's going to help you get your PR. It's also going to help your career. You start making more money in Canada as well. So I hope that helps. Next live I'm doing is it's going to be in about an hour or so. It's on our page. We're going to be talking about IELTS. This has killed a lot of immigration dreams. Okay, lots of people have not been able to immigrate to Canada because they are afraid of this exam. People keep asking me all the time, do I have to take this exam to come to Canada? And I say, look, I mean, except you want to pay international tuition fees, you're going to have to be doing this exam. So don't be afraid of the exam, guys. Come on the next live. Let's discuss helpful strategies that can help you pass this exam. So
okay, there are like 2 questions.
I'll take one more. Let me go back to, let me take this last one here from
Debodu.
Yeah, okay. I didn't pronounce it right. I'm not Yoruba, guys, so my pronunciation
We
might
will
not
forgive
be,
you.
my pronunciation might not be the best, but it's saying transcript. Do you think it is wise to wait? I don't see all.
Okay, so she's saying that the school is going to send the letter of completion by May ending.
Okay.
So is it wise to wait until they send that, or can she just go ahead and apply using that transcript?
Well, if you have the transcript, use it, right?
Okay.
Again, the program guide is going to be out next week, and proof of completion can be your transcript. Okay, I wouldn't wait, guys. If I were you, I'm already a citizen, so I'm not really in the same category. But if I were you, I would have all my documents ready today. Because come May 6th, we're actually hoping that website doesn't crash. Everyone's going to be on it. So
yeah. So to be safe, just use what you have on ground, something that can prove, right?
Yeah.
That you have right now in hand.
Yeah.
And apply as soon as possible. Remember that time is very important in this case.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have to just do that.
If you don't want to go learn French, you want to be ready May 6th with all of your documents, right? And
yes.
so that's what I would say. So I hope that was helpful, guys. If you have any questions,
yeah, it was. Thank you,
contact us.
Bess. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. I'll save the live on my page, and you can always go back to watch to refresh or share with your friends as well.
Awesome. All right. You take good care.
Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.
Thank you. Take care. Okay. Bye now.
Okay, guys. So I'm going to just save the session, and you can go ahead and share with your friends who you think will benefit from this. Thank you for joining. Have a great day. Bye.